Okay, yeah. Okay, is it focusing? Okay, yeah, that worked. Finally back. So, hi, I am finally back. This light is super bright. I am here today to film a video about my first year at university. So I have notes on my iPad, that's why if I'm looking down a lot, I'm reading my notes. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So I look so strange. I look like a brown egg. Anyway, so my expectations, and I think this is something that's important to address because everybody has expectations of uni. In hindsight, I think having expectations about uni is what like hindered me, because I expected so much of university life that I was underwhelmed when I came to Cambridge. But on the flip side, that I expected so little from Cambridge that I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by Cambridge itself. In terms of university life, I expected like the quintessential university life. So I was expecting like raves and like, you know, people go on those like little university term time trips with their friends, like all these things you see about like people staying up in the late hours, chilling, freshers, and basically just the kind of quintessential idea of uni. But I think Cambridge was like, bitch, let me put a hold on that. Your expectations are too high. After first term, I came to quickly realize that Cambridge wouldn't accommodate for that quintessential uni life. And I think on part, it was partly to do with my college, because we didn't have a communal area for first years to kind of like hang out in and like just a space for first years and freshers just to be able to chill out in. And that's important because in my accommodation is literally like a hotel. Ooh. Homerton is like known for being like Hotel Homerton, whatever. So the kitchens are small, not big enough to have tables, and the rooms are all obviously close together. You're sharing with like, I don't know, 8 times 4 other people in the long corridors, so noise can get a bit much. So that kind of stopped us from being able to socialize in a way that would have been kind of appropriate for freshers. And yeah, there was nowhere to like do like house parties. There will never be anywhere to do house parties because I'm living in halls basically for the next 3 years, so I'm always going to be in halls, so I'm never gonna get that like university experience of like, unless you wanted to, because you can buy houses in second year. Buy houses at our age? No, you can rent houses in second year with friends, but obviously it costs a lot more to rent a house in town. And if like you have your supervisions and stuff mainly in Homerton, I don't see why you'd like fork out extra money just to live in town. Obviously it is the expense of wanting that experience that most students at other unis have, of like dealing with landlords and stuff like that, which is good practice and like getting you to practice what might happen in real life. So that's kind of a bit where you lose out too, but it is what it is. Things like this just take away from that university experience that I expected. So that's why I think it was kind of bad for me to go in with expectations. Another thing that I found really hard to deal with in first term, that again I think is a given when you go to somewhere like Cambridge, is that you will be alone. In first term, I found it really hard to deal with the fact that the majority of the time, not the majority of the time, but you will be alone quite a lot, and you have to get used to being alone. And by this I mean people have different schedules, people have lectures, people have supervisions, people have work to do, people have deadlines and different deadlines. So it's like during the day everyone's literally just working, like in the library, or like people are constantly working, that sometimes it's hard to align your schedules with other people. So there's nothing much you can do about that. And like, for example, if you just want to go chill with someone and like watch a movie or like just talk, you are aware that you're hindering people's time, and people do have work to do. So opportunities like that weren't frequently there, which is why it would have just helped so much more to have a communal space, which we weren't provided. But yeah, you have to get used to being alone, and that's one of the big lessons that I learned from first term itself. The good thing about being in an environment like this is everyone's very understanding of you having work. Just expected a lot more from university and didn't get that. But on the flip side, I think that my expectations of Cambridge were so low. I've spoken about this before, where I was like probably quite mildly depressed after results day because I wasn't looking forward to coming to Cambridge, because I thought, shit, like I'm not gonna fit in. I'm like an anomaly. It's gonna be so different. I'm gonna be surrounded by like posh people and all of this stuff. Like that's literally what I thought before coming here, and my expectations were blown away. Thankfully, because I've met the most amazing people. Like I've met so many talented, funny, clever people, and I'm so grateful. My DOS is the best, my tutors the best. Like the staff at Homerton are really good, and I think that that played a major part in me being able to feel like, yeah, Cambridge is the right place for me. Because if I hadn't had those people around me, like people in my college, like my college husbands, or the people I talk to regularly, or even my closest neighbours, like shout out to Alex, Archie, Claire, Mantra, Ruben and Olivia. Like I just had the loveliest corridor and the loveliest floor, and I met the loveliest people, and it just made it all like just amazing basically. And I guess on the flip side, you will have experiences like many of your friends from other unis don't experience, such as like going to formal dinners, like wearing a gown. Like sometimes when I'm wearing my gown and I'm walking around like Trinity College or something like that, or even Homerton or whatever, when I'm just walking around wearing my gown, or like we have jazz in Homerton, like you can see in my vlogs after formals, and everyone's just in their gowns, like yeah, listening to jazz, and it's just like, wow, like I never expected this life kind of thing. Like why am I in a gown like in Cambridge? Like it's just funny to me. And yeah, you get so many opportunities there, and there's so much to do and so much to take advantage of. So it is a shame, like it's only 3 years. 3 years goes quickly, guys. It will go quickly, but there is so much to do, so many opportunities, and I am grateful for being there despite my out of this world expectations of uni. Overall, I'd rate like university experience, like overall it would be kind of like 5 out of 10, but I would rate like the Cambridge experience a 7 out of 10 so far. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. It's been a lot. It's been, you know, like literally being put into a different world, but yeah, it's been interesting and it's been good. So the nightlife, which is what some people may be interested in. So the clubs we have are Lola's, Cindy's, Life and Fez, I believe. I'm not sure if I've missed one out. There are student specific days, like Wednesday Cindy's, Friday Life, Sunday Life. There's also Tuesday and Sunday Fairs, and there's Tuesday Glitter Bomb, which is like the LGBTQ plus club night. So yeah, clubbing in Cambridge is like, it kind of gets repetitive. I mean, like, you enjoy it because of the company you're with, but I can see myself like in second year not going clubbing as much, because in first year you are eager to club more, and it's kind of like once you've been there, you've done that. So yeah, the nightlife is literally like a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5 out of 10. Like the nightlife in Cambridge is literally nothing special. But okay, I went to Ministry of Sound, actually, a rave with some friends of mine from London, and that experience was horrible. I literally was telling my other London uni friends, I don't know how you do this, I don't know how you club in London, because it was literally like a rugby match. I don't know why people were so aggressive in the club. Like someone elbowed my ribs. Listen, for a vodka and lemonade mixer that was this big, it cost me £7, and it was just like, people were just like in their friendship groups, if that makes sense. Like you might have a group from LSE, you might have a group from UCL and whatever. Like I know it's like people don't really mix. I bumped into quite a lot of people from Cambridge there, but I feel like in Cambridge clubbing, because sometimes you see familiar faces, and sometimes it's easier just to like talk to people, meet new people. I'll talk about this in a bit, but some of the majority of friends I've made is through clubbing. So it's like, it's easy to like interact with other people from different colleges, because you have to note that in Cambridge it is a collegiate system, so clubbing is one of the ways to meet people from other colleges. So yeah, nightlife in Cambridge is that brings me on to what I'm saying now about making friends. So I am a very like extroverted person sometimes. So in Freshers Week I kind of like just tried to make sure that I was like, you know, making a bit of more of an effort. I am glad that I was in an environment where I could be myself. So a big worry of for me coming to uni was thinking like, oh shit, like I'll be this anomaly. But you know what, after some time, because I thought, okay, I have to like consistently wear one wig or people will think I'm crazy, whatever. After some time I was like, no, I'm gonna be unapologetically me. I was switching up my wigs, no makeup days, listening to my Afro beats, like whatever. Like I'm so lucky I'm in an environment where I can literally just unapologetically be myself, and I found that like, that's what I'm grateful for. For those of you that do find it hard or are scared about making friends, remember that university is a big place, and like in my year alone there are 3.5k people or something like that. So you will always have opportunities to get out there and make friends, and you do have to take on that responsibility a bit and be a bit more like, you know, go for it, like join societies. So my friends, I think the majority of my friends, the only people I knew before I came to Cambridge were obviously the Lambton School people and Sophie, because we met at the Eton College summer school, so I knew no one else. So ACS was a big part of me making friends, and clubbing. Those are the two things. So yeah, you just gotta like put yourself out there more, and yeah, don't be scared, because the majority of the time people will be really approachable and nice and friendly. The thing about the collegiate system is that you kind of have these moments where you're like, you're grateful for the friends you have, but you're like, whoa, like had I gone to a different college I'd have a completely different set of friends with a completely different life. So you kind of like, sometimes if you get like fixated on that, you can get like, whoa, like what would my life be if I was at a different college, kind of thing. Yeah, that brings me on to people. So now I'm going to talk about like what I found about people like going to university. Like you're surrounded by so many different personalities and different people, different walks of life. It's amazing because it's just like a melting pot of experience. However, this meant that in first term I'm like really like, so in first term I wasn't quick to like find my BFFL or like find my best friend. Like I kept myself to myself quite a bit, just to like see how people are, see how people move, because like you don't want to get trapped into the thing where it's like high school and you want to have all the friends in the world. Like no, like I think I left first term literally with not a single friend, as in someone to call a friend. But I'm happy with the approach I had, because now I've left third term and I'm like, I have people I can call friends, and I have people that I know that when uni is done we will still be friends. I think a lot of people kind of fell into the trap of thinking that the people that they met like week one or clicked in week one, they would click forevermore, and some people's friendships fell apart, and some people, the people that they were close to in first term, they weren't so close to in third term. So remember to like just take your time. You don't have to rush into it. I know it's a new environment and it's daunting, and that's how I felt as well, but I was like, I'd rather just take my time and see like who I genuinely click with. There's no point in making temporary friendships for me. Like everyone's friendly and nice and I get along with everyone, but I'm talking about friends, like, you know, friends. So yeah, just remember that you don't have to rush it. A thing about people, I think especially in a university environment, and particularly in an environment like Cambridge where it's like networking opportunity central, I think I learned that like people kind of see people as an asset. What can you do for me? And I'm from a background or like from a mindset where I don't see people like that. So it was kind of like strange to like witness that like people can like use people for what they have. And I was very wary of that, and I just think it's just to remember to be respectful, be humble, don't forget where you came from, don't get lost in the sauce, and you know, stick to your values. even though you may see things and that's how people move, and people move quite differently, just stick to your values and stick to how you are and you should be fine. Okay, the next topic is boys. Men are trash. Don't do it to yourself. Boys, nah, dead that. No, finding bae is not the one. Finding boo is not the one. Finding your man crush Monday is not the one. Yeah, that's all I have to say. All I'll say on this behalf is, I don't know, the collegiate system is both a plus and a minus. It's a plus because it gives you a bigger pool, and it's a minus because, again, you could be like, wow, my future husband could be somewhere out there in a different life. Had I gone to a different college, I would have maybe met future bae. So it's kind of like one of those things, but you shouldn't be, you're focused on your degree, babe. Another major thing is, actually what I want to mention is like the predatory nature of second years with freshers. And this is something like, I don't know why universities don't address this more. People don't, I don't know, people need to speak about this more because it's actually quite disgusting. It makes me sick. They call it sharking at Cambridge, and I don't find it funny, or I don't use that term because I think it's just making light of like the predatory and disgusting nature of the way like second years kind of wait for first year girls to come in, to like swoop in. And first year girls, listen to me, you're naive. I don't care, you're naive. Me, I thought I knew it all. Even right now, if you think you know it all, if you think, nah, I'm calm, remember that you're naive. I wish I should have, I wish there was someone to tell me that was older than me, to just tell me you're naive. If I take it, I take it. If I don't, I don't. But someone should have warned me that you're naive. So if the decisions you think you're making at the time, that like you think you've calculated and you may look back on first year and realize, no, that wasn't the one. Lectures for English, they're optional. Supervisions, lovely stuff. Like, the only thing that kept me going, like one of the things that kept me going was my degree. My degree is buff, like studying English is buff. And that's why I was a bit upset come third term, which I'll talk about in a bit. But that had to do with like other things. But it is buff, like supervisions, whoa. I've had some of just like peng supervisions. Like I love the Cambridge system. Like it is for me in terms of learning environment and pushing yourself. Like it's amazing. Like imagine, okay, so in English you do on average 2 essays a week. That's 8 weeks. But these essays are light work essays. They're like, you know how we did coursework and we had several months to do coursework? It's like doing coursework but every 4 or 5 days. Like it's intense. It's hard. Like literally there are days where I didn't cry, but I was like doing that crazy love. You know when you know this I was literally doing that to myself because I was having like breakdowns. Like it's hard. Cambridge is hard. Please listen to me. Cambridge is hard, but you get through it, and then that's like the reward that you realize that you got through all of that stuff. In a place like Cambridge, what you get out is kind of relative to what you put in. But I was kind of like sad. So I got like a low mid 2-1 for one of my papers and a high 2-2 for another paper, and I hadn't revised. So I literally did my revision for my exams the night before my exams and the morning of, because my exams were afternoon exams. And I thought like, I just felt like a scam. Like I didn't deserve those grades. Like I would have rather had something lower to like get the grade I deserve. But yeah, I'll go into that like a bit later because it has to do with other things. But what you do get out is relative to what you put in, and I wasn't putting in any work, love. I wasn't doing anything this year. I literally feel like I left and did nothing, which is really bad. So that's one of the changes I want to make for next year. Just remember that you're at university and you're paying for this. You have to do the work. So try to treat it like a 9 to 5. The thing about a humanities degree is that it's so easy to get lost in the source because you have less contact hours than, let's say, the sciences, which they have to be in labs, they have to be doing this, they have their supervisions. Like they have like more of a structured timetable than a humanities degree, where you have your lectures and your supervisions, and then the rest of that time it's up to you what to do. And the danger of that is you do nothing, like me. So just make sure that you structure your time and try to just get the most out of it, because it is 3 years but it goes quickly. Like, especially when you have 8-week terms, it just flies by and it's scary. Especially in an environment like university, you need to take care of your mental health. So very briefly, I've been through a lot, guys. I've been through a lot, and sometimes I wonder how I got 3 A stars, because I've been through a lot. And even during all my A levels, like, I've been through a lot. So what I was doing throughout that time was like putting all these issues to the back of my mind, So I was like, okay, when I get to uni, perhaps I may finally deal with some of this stuff. And what happened is that at uni, I just never did. So I found myself a lot of the time sleeping, and I thought I was anemic, or like I thought something was wrong with me. So I was sleeping so much, like it was actually quite scary. And then I went to my college nurse, and she said to book a GP appointment, but she herself recommended, like, here's a depression leaflet and I think you should see a counsellor. So I was going to book the university counselling service, and at Cambridge do have, that's one thing I have to like say well done to Cambridge, because they are there for your mental health. They do want to be there, so they have so many avenues of like help you can seek out, from like the welfare reps in colleges to different societies, and as well like just such an amazing and elaborate university counselling system where you can get counselling in college, or you can get counselling like in the university as a whole, if that makes sense. And they just recently introduced BME counsellors after a campaign that was asking for them to do so. So with pastoral care, I think Cambridge really do try their best. I realized like I'm like really panicky, and so like my phone got stolen, my brand new S8 got stolen in first term. In second term, I spilt water in my laptop, fried. In third term, my bike got stolen. And the way I dealt with my phone being stolen in first term versus the way I dealt with my bike being stolen in third term was completely different, because in first term I was like a wreck. But my bike being stolen, again, it was like one of those things that adds to like your stress a bit, like the cherry on top of the cake. But I dealt with it like much more in a more mature fashion. And you realize a lot about life. I'm not gonna lie. You realize a lot about life and yourself and how you deal with things and cope with things. So yeah, university is kind of a good like life lesson kind of giver. Third term as well, because obviously I was dealing with these things mentally, and then you have the stress of your degree, and third term was stress. And so I ran out of steam. So you really do have to look after here to make sure that everything else can, you know, just work properly. And I was highly stressed, and I'm gonna do a separate video about stress because I tweeted about this, and I tweeted about not letting anyone invalidate your stress, because we all can get stressed. Don't let anyone invalidate your mental health or stress, because it is very serious. And I've dealt with like high stress in uni. I dealt with high stress, like it's quite scary. Like I never want to be in that position again. So I'll do a video about that. Just take care of yourself and your mental health, please. My faith, I fell off, guys. I fell off. I went to church in Cambridge once, and that was on my birthday on November the 12th. I fell off, which is very bad, and yeah, that's not good, because I literally consider myself like having had a strong relationship with God, actually, my faith. And I guess in uni you kind of get lost in the sauce, but remember who you are again, and hopefully again in second year that's something I can pick back up. Because yeah, when you fall off like that, or you're not in tune anymore, like you feel it and you recognize it, and it affects everything. But yeah, some hopes for second year, I think one of them is to do more. So to not be a potato, basically, like get involved in more societies. And I want to try rowing. I'm gonna try and see how rowing goes, and I'm gonna be a rower. But do more, and do more of what I love, like immerse myself in like my talents and my hobbies, because I like didn't do that. So like YouTube and like photography, and I want to involve more of my friends in the things I love also. And the last one is to actually do work. Like I want to do work. So that is it from me. That is it from me and my first year experience. It was like a whirlwind, like wow. But you learn a lot. You learn so much about yourself, about other people, about your resilience, about what you can handle, what you can't. It is really like a big learning curve. So if anything, taking away that from it is a plus in itself, and I'm really grateful. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about university, about Cambridge, let me know. And yeah, thank you for like being on this journey with me. Like, it's actually like crazy, like since like whenever you've been watching me through like my first term, my second term, now my third term. So it's crazy, and I can't wait to like continue on next year and to share with you next year. And it's so nice, like we get to document this, so one day we can watch all of this back and see how it really went, honey. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.